Okay, we are ready to start the idea of cutting cards. So, how do you use these research materials to cut cards which are actually usable in a debate? Now, I've got three programs open already. The first is my web browser here, and specifically, I've kind of got it open up to an article that I'll talk about here in a second, but just for the sake of kind of starting from where you might start, I'll go ahead and go back to the Liberty High School homepage and kind of walk you back from there. Second thing I've got open is my research journal, which we've talked about in previous sessions. You can look at that either through the one of the two EBSCO hosts, and then the other thing I have open is my Microsoft Word document, which is going to be where I'm actually going to be physically cutting the cards, not physically, but digitally cutting the cards. So, headed to the home page, I'm going to go to LMC Online Resources, kind of going to breeze through this. It's on the other thing, Academic Search Elite, and then from there I'm going to run the same search that I've done before, which is where we're truncating, we're pretending we're searching for statistics or ways to solve for or deal with homelessness in certain areas. So I'm going to go homeless, and I'm going to add an asterisk there. Remember, that's going to truncate my search. It's going to let me search for multiple things. And then I might search for CIT asterisk, that's CIT asterisk, search for city, cities, anything that starts CIT and then ends, and then or urban, so that we can get some of that academic literature that might use some of that highfalutin language instead of cities. So then I'm going to click search, and I'm kind of off. And from there, you're kind of, it's more of an art than a science from here. The first thing that I always do is I read abstracts. So this article discusses the socioeconomic condition for older women and yada, yada, yada. See, for me, kind of your first article, your first glance is this is a real narrow idea. I kind of want something a little bit more broad, so I'm scanning titles. I'm kind of looking at the names of these journals. The Canadian Journal of Criminology and Criminal Justice sort of steers me astray. The other thing that I automatically want to rule in or out is, does it have a full text? So for example, as I was doing my initial research, this looked really good. Governing the homeless in an age of compassion, sort of an 10-year plan to end homelessness in a specific area. So I looked at that and thought, oh, that might be a great idea, but as I'm looking down here, I don't see a full text. And I'll kind of teach you a trick about how to get that, how to access that later, but that's for a different day. For now, I'm kind of still combing these ideas. Again, we've got Sting homeless shelters in Calgary, not exactly what I'm looking for. And then I see the neighborhood context of homelessness, and I think this might be good. Not only that, but I've got an HTML full text and a PDF full text, which allows me a little bit of wiggle room. So I'll show you, because it's easier to cut cards from the HTML full text, but I'll do one at each for you. So once we click on our HTML full text, we have our whole idea. You've got your table of contents out here with hyperlinks, so you can go specifically to an idea or a concept if you'd like, and then you've got the full text of the article. And from here, the first thing to do is to just read through it. And as I'm looking, always in the introduction, it's a good place for you to ground yourself. And the first thing that I see that I like is this conclusions concept. So I see that, and I think, okay, this is something that I can use. So what I'm going to do is hit Control and then copy. So I've copied a section or a paragraph of my article that I like, and I've got Word open now. First thing I always do is I just go ahead and paste in what I have. Notice I'm not copying sentences, I'm copying full paragraphs. The least that you want to copy from an article is at least one paragraph. That is a bare minimum. So always do that. And then once you get your thing copied in, the next thing you want to do is take a look at what this is talking about and maybe make a subheading the way that you would think about labeling a file folder. Use a couple keywords. And so something I see here is the spatial concentration of homeless adults in areas with fewer opportunities and more economic and housing distress may present additional barriers to regaining stability in housing and employment. Big picture spatial and time course viewpoint is critical for both policymakers and future homelessness researchers. So what I'm going to say is location and homelessness. It's kind of the big picture what this whole thing is about, and I want to make that kind of big. So I'm going to make that guy 18. That way, as I'm looking over it, I can kind of see it. Next thing you want to do is create your tagline. Now this is a one-sentence summary of what you have. So you want to restate the main idea here. And I might say policymakers must consider locations of homelessness before they can solve the problem. So now that I have my tagline in there, the next thing for me to do is to literally cite the source. And the easiest way to do that is just to come up here and copy the source. So we're going to go Command C, then go back to our Word document and put it Command V. Now our source is going to rely on a couple of different things. The first thing you want to do is extrapolate the author's last name and use that one first. And it looks like this guy's name is Alexander Eitzman. And I see that right down here. That's his last name. And I've got a couple of other people, but I'm going to cite him, and then I'll cite them in the secondary tag. And then the next thing that you want to put is the year. So I got 2013 right here. So I'm going to type that up here. I type 12 and I'm typing 13. So the next thing that you want to do is come down here, not in bold, in brackets. You're going to put their first name, and his name is Ben. Then the title of the article, the neighborhood context of homelessness, and then you're going to put in the name of the journal, which is the American Journal of Public Health. You do this the same way that you would a comm arts class. And then to end it, what you'll do is just give the month or date if you have it. In this case, it's April 2013. So that is our tagline. Okay, so now that we've kind of cut our card on homelessness and you've got an idea of what that looks like, some of you might want kind of a template for how to do it. So I've included that for you. Let's review that really quick. At the top, in big letters, you want a file heading or indicator. This is something you would put on a file folder. Imagine you're filing this manually. You're just going to have one or two words up there. Then underneath that, you're going to have a blank, and that's so that in the debate round, you can actually write on it. You can write numbers or letters or things like that on it. You can put check marks or X's next to it if you want to read it or not read it or whatever. And then you're going to have a one-sentence tagline that explains the evidence you're presenting. Notice this tagline is different from this file indicator. This tagline is going to use text from the actual card that you've got, but it's going to be a persuasive tagline that explains to the judge why or what you're about to read from your author. After that, you want the author's last name. Let's make that possessive. And the year of the article. And then in brackets, you're going to have the author's first name, the title of the article, the title of the journal, and then the full date, and then underneath that, the actual text. So let me compare them side by side for you. You can see there you've got location and homelessness, file heading and indicator, that's that. And our one-sentence tagline is, policymakers must consider location of homeless individuals before they solve the problem. Author's last name is Alexander Eitzman. Year of the article is 2013. First name is Ben. You getting dizzy yet? Title of the article you can see there. Title of the journal is the Journal of Public Health. and then the actual date is April 2013, and there you have the actual full text. So ultimately, that's how you're going to cut cards. It's sort of rinse and repeat after you get that